Start.
Good evening, myself Shlok and my friend Varun. Welcome all of you to High on Sugar episode Badam or Buddhishilata. Okay, so we'll start by explaining what the topic is. Okay, so Varun, what is Badam and Buddhishilata?
So basically, Shlok came up with this idea that why don't we do a brainstorming session on what people can do new during this lockdown. So then we were thinking that high on sugar is related, everything is related to sugar here. So what to think about? Initially we thought bourbon biscuits, then we had banana in our mind, but either of us did not have banana in our house. So then we thought something which is very common and available at every place, which is called the badam or the almond, which is called the California almonds. So
And so,
we
what
titled it as
what I
Badam or Buddhi Shilata because Buddhi is quite related to the Badam. Even our forefathers used to say that if you eat Badam every day in the morning, your brain gets charged up and you
yeah
increase your efficiency all over through your work.
yeah, and actually badam or rather almonds were originally from the Middle East and Mediterranean regions of Europe, and then they were brought over to the Americas via the trade routes. And that is why it became so popular in California, because in the 16th century, when the Spanish trading ships, they brought almonds to California, and then when the region developed in California, right, the irrigation and other facilities developed. Uh, so then they started growing there because the climate and the infrastructure there was so suited to growing almonds that now California grows around 80% of the world's almonds. And almonds traditionally, we hear from our, especially in India, we hear from our mothers and fathers like, okay, soak the almonds overnight in water and then you eat them in the morning before sending us to school. So we thought, like, since we were brainstorming, right, let us bring almonds into the mix, right, because it's sort of a nostalgic thing for, when we were kids, we were always being fed like 2 or 3 almonds before going to school.
Still, we see so many ads on the television where California almond keeps on promoting themselves, saying that you eat almond twice or thrice a day and you become more and more sharper and stronger in your life. So that is why the idea came that let it be badam or gray or buddhi shilata rather than
But
brainstorm.
Buddhishilata is basically brainstorming. So, as we have explained, I think the audience would get what we are doing today. So, we are going to just brainstorm on some topics, get some crazy ideas that were in our heads. Just let our creativities flow. And we are going to discuss about some topics. And if the audience has some, interesting ideas related to these topics, we would love to read them in the comment section. So, put those down in the comment section and we'll make sure to read them. So, shall we start, Varun?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we'll start with the latest topic first. Since we are all bored due to the lockdown which we are in, like, yeah, for 4 months not going outside. I mean, I am lucky because I have a terrace, open terrace, so I can at least enjoy the sun. But many people are not even that lucky. So then it came to me like, why is it like this that everyone has to stay at home, right? Because it was so disruptive for us, right? That our life was going so hectically. You wake up in the morning, you go to college, you come back in the evening, you study, then you eat, sleep, and then the routine repeats, right? But then it was such jarring change in the beginning. So what was your experience, Varun, when the lockdown started in the beginning?
there was there was this quite sense of enjoyment that when initially the lockdown started, like it is the best period when you find something that government announces holiday or something kind of a lockdown, especially to students who are studying in various universities and schools. So this is something very common. People felt delighted that yeah, something we are going to get a holiday of almost 15 days, so we'll just enjoy whatever 15 days we are getting. But then it really became going into your nerves, getting into your nerves, that the lockdown
Yeah.
now prolonged to almost 4 months. So
Even our summer vacations during the school times weren't this long, right? So especially in India, we are not accustomed to 4 month long holidays. Even most of us, maximum 1 or 1.5 months is our limit. Like after that, we start to get restless. Okay, then where is the school? Because we can't meet our friends anywhere other than school, right? Because some people stay close to us, but many of them stay so far away. So that is an issue. So I was thinking about this, and Varun, tell me your opinion about this also. But what if, because since the virus, the C virus, it since it only is very fatal to people 60 and above, then why everyone, including children, including healthy young adults, why is everyone staying at home? Because what I was thinking is, the people who are 30 years old, 40 years old, or people younger than 40, they can go out, they can take the necessary precautions of like maintaining distance and so on and so forth. But even if they don't, even if somehow they contract the virus, there's a very small chance that they get minor symptoms even. And just before coming into the house, they make sure to not come into contact with any elder people. They go straight to the bathroom or like have a wash, and
area
then
in their
take
house.
yeah, take some steam, get yourself, wash your entire body with soap, take a good nice bath, and then you're free to interact, right, with the elderly in your house. And so I thought, like, why is this not done? Because it could have been, right?
Yes. See, currently in our old age, or our what our forefathers used to say, that whenever you go out of house and you come back from some other place other than your house, it is accustomed, or it is mandatory that you wash your hands and legs properly
Hmm.
after coming into your house from wherever you have been, and then interact with your family members or do whatever work you have at your home. So that was a very age-old custom that many of us followed till date, but many of the current generation do not know about these old age customs. As we are
Yeah.
into the technological age, where we are seeing so many technological advancements that we forget what are our roots, and we deviate in a very large manner.
Yeah, because even when we were small, like in junior and senior KGs and first standards, that was a common theme which happened to us. Whenever we came back from school, no matter how tired we were, the first thing we used to do is, put our shoes where they were, put our bags on the floor, and then we went straight to the bathroom, right? To wash up, to have a nice bath. And then we would come out, we would eat something, we would sleep, and so on and so forth. So I was thinking, if the old people are not contracting the virus, right? Even if there are many people infected, not many are dying, right? Even if you have asymptomatic stage, like where you see only minor symptoms, then you can go to the hospital to have it checked out, right? But that is not going to happen in majority of the cases for people 40 and younger. So I didn't see the point of all the businesses, all the schools being closed, right? I think why this happened is because it all this happened so suddenly, right? Everything everything changed from regional to international so quickly that the governments did not know how to handle this. So they just released the widespread solution. Okay, everyone stay at home. Varun, do you remember when our teachers used to do this in the class when they didn't know who committed a mischief? They're saying, okay, if no one comes forward, I'll punish the entire class.
Entire class, yeah.
So this is exactly what is happening. They don't know how to handle this. So now they are like, just say, okay, we'll give you a blanket solution so that, it is better safe than sorry wala mentality. Where, okay, it's fine to some extent, but then they're saying, okay, no, everyone has to stay at home so that the some few people are not at, very few people are not at risk. So, okay, so what are your thoughts on this one?
So basically, as we are seeing that right from the start of the lockdown, our government had implemented severe lockdown measures where we were
Mm.
strictly restricted to staying at our homes. And there are a lot of technological brainstorming which is happening all over the world, where people
Mm.
are trying to find avenues on how to curtail the virus or how to do something to revive the economy of each and every country. So there are people who are currently working on various avenues.
Mm.
Them are working on what technological advancements can be done during this lockdown period, as it can be highly beneficial from a future point of view, but not from a present point of view. So many people who are thinking of the future and working in the present now. So there are a lot of people who are doing this. Uh, Currently, we saw a rise in the number of PPE kits produced or the test kits which were produced. So since we had a lockdown and our Prime Minister, Mr. Shri Narendra Modi, also had told that people who are at home can help the COVID fighters outside by stitching masks at home. So that is something which I believe is a great employment kind of opportunity where you do not get paid, but you are doing something to help people out there fighting against COVID. So this is something which people started doing initially. People started making homemade masks out of all the fabrics which they were having at home, some old saris, some different materials, and they started stitching masks. And then it moved on to PPE kits, sanitization chambers. We had some ultraviolet cleaning chambers where IITs and many other such institutes developed such sanitation chambers where you just sanitize your entire grocery stuff or anything that you buy from outside, keep it in this box, and it is going through a UV treatment which removes all the germs and bacteria and insect and virus, anything that has. So something like that. So people are thinking more and more innovatively during this lockdown, as it has helped them, as basically the lockdown has given people the time to introspect, to uh, calmly sit and think on what can be done in order to help people out there.
Yes, that was something that it was very good to see, like people coming together. There was less of hate that is usually present, and there was more of, people helping each other. Because especially in India, there are, I mean, always somewhere or the other racial riots are, religious riots are happening, right? Somewhere or the other, some conflict is happening between two parties. But during this time, especially in the government, when in normal times we see the opposition parties and the ruling parties, they bicker, they blame throwing and the mudslinging and all of that. But now everyone is coming together. Like, even if there are some decisions that have to be made, people are coming together and making them. So it was good to see. Like, but then you also think about this, that people only came together when such a big problem arose. When there was no external problem, people were fighting, between each other, against themselves, especially. So, what are your thoughts on this, Varun? That people only come together when there is a bigger problem to solve.
Very true. So
Yeah. So.
the transition came when we shifted from having cloth-based uh, mask to some specific material-based mask, and same goes with the PPE kits. We had earlier we had some very cloth-based PPE kits, but then we got it made it into plastic-based PPE kits, where the overall cost of the PPE kits got reduced by almost 30-40% of the original cloth-based PPE kit. There is a lot of brainstorming which is happening, and one of the brainstorming which happened was when I, Shlok, and one of our friend named Divya had a con call together and discussed about how we can make a cheaply available PPE kit. So it was when we tried to basically observe the society around us, in what kind of a society we lived in, and then we tried to figure out what can be done to make a easily available PPE kit. So I believe first 2 days we were not quite into we were quite into searching what materials could be used, and we had a lot of information, but we did not have the exact method to process that and filter out which is required. But then the third or fourth day, we just happened to come around to a same conclusion that why do not we try the burqa design? Now, burqa is something that Muslim women have been wearing from over 1,000 years. We have seen women of the Muslim religion wearing burqas the day long, the entire day long, or whenever they are out of their houses. So burqa is kind of like an entire PPE suit. What they wear from entirely from the top to the bottom. They have a head covering kind of cloth, and then they have an entire burqa which covers their entire body, right from their wrist to their toe. So not toe, but basically the ankle. So
Ankle.
some design that should have been taken into consideration while making of PPE kits, as it is one of the most largely produced clothing material in India as well as in other Muslim majority countries also. So burqa should have been a major preference, that why not use the same burqa design, because see, burqa is something which has a lot of ventilation going through it also, and then you can infuse it with plastic or some other poly fabric in order to make it hole free, so that none of the particles or the contaminants of the virus go through it or could harm you. So we thought, why not the burqa? So burqa is a shining example that we see in our society, that is available very widely. So basically, brainstorming should be done only by observing. Ideas, when you get an idea, you just start observing. That is what is the entire goal of brainstorming. So unless you observe what is there in your surrounding, because every problem's solution lies in your surrounding only. You do not need to like go to Google every 5 minutes and check what is the new technological advancement, what is happening, what technology can I use now, what is not happening, what is there, what is not there. So Google has hell lot of answers, but if you see, every small particle near you also has a solution to some of your minute problems. Now, as a shining example, when we saw a lady walking in burqa, that that basically seeing that lady walking in burqa, that idea clicked. So if a burqa is able to cover a woman from top to bottom, why not a PPE suit made of the same type can cover a doctor working for 24 hours, and it is also not suffocating like how the plastic is basically. Because when you wear plastic,
Yes.
it is quite suffocating. You feel uneasy when you wear plastic. If you wish to try also, you can just put a plastic bag over your head and wait for 5 to 10 minutes. Then you would feel how it is tough to work in plastic. So why not try a burqa? Because it is basically made of cloth. You are infusing it with plastic or poly material in order to hide the holes, but it is still ventilating, and it can prove to be very helpful. And since it is very comfortable also, doctors will not have a problem while working with a burqa on.
Mhm.
So this is what
Yeah.
we can
So,
learn.
and from there we came to at least I came to a conclusion that material science is that something that is, very important if we consider, from a development standpoint for humans, because so many problems, right, they can be easily solved if we have a correct material. But there are some problems for which the materials do not exist, which is where, material science in the entire field comes into play. Because I was reading the other day about if space elevators are possible or not, and they were using 3 or 4 reference materials, such as carbon fiber. They were using aluminum. They were using steel, and to determine like what type of material is most suitable to make a space elevator. And then they came to conclusion that the carbon nanotubes which are currently in development, not on a large scale, but they are in the testing phase. Like they are testing the properties and they're testing various manufacturing methods of a carbon nanotube. So they were saying that okay, if and if the carbon nano when the carbon nanotube gets widely commercialized, it is going to be the next big thing, like how carbon fiber was before. Before steel was the prominent, but then carbon fiber came and then it became the prominent lightweight and durable material,
Right.
where steel was occupying that position before. So that is what I was saying. But as and when material science and that makes further developments, we can see a lot of improvements in other fields, such as in electronics, where they were thinking about using carbines, carbines to print circuits on cloths, because unlike metal printing circuits using metal on a PCB, you know printing using carbines or carbon material on cloth, it gives you a flexible, it gives you a lightweight, and gives you a conductive base on which you can build circuits and build devices. So I was that was we at least I came to a conclusion that material science is especially important when it comes to advancements in technology and advancements in the next thing. So on the basis of that, I would like to ask a question to all our audience as well as to Varun. Varun, so what do you think is the next science field, which is going to be the easiest to get a breakthrough? Which field of development has the potential to have the earliest breakthrough for us humans?
I believe it is the field of nanotechnology, because currently, as we are seeing from generations, I would like to ask you also, Shlo, that we are seeing from generations or from decades, that every decade we have a reduction in the size of everything that we make. So initially we had, if we had a this big suit or this long suit for astronauts, now we have it very small, as you would have seen for the astronauts who were on the space shuttle with space. So entire suits were narrowed down to a very smaller size compared to the earlier ones, which were quite heavy. So since from decades our technology is basically trying to miniaturize whatever we have or whatever we have produced. So I believe nanotechnology has the power to basically boom in the next 4 or 5 years.
Okay, I feel the similar way about electronic field or the electronic sector as well as the computation sector, because as is the trend from decades, that the size of the computers, the size of electronic devices is getting smaller and smaller, and the price is getting cheaper and cheaper, and the components inside the machines are increasing twice every year. So we are on this current trajectory for a very long time. So we cannot dismiss this as a one-off trend, and I believe that electronics and the computation departments or the computation fields, especially in the IT sector or in the AI sector, things are going to go boom very fast in the next 5 or 10 years.
But Shlok, I believe that our electronics field has to work quite hard, because in the current world we have n numbers of softwares that are getting produced. But the uh, quantity of hardware is quite less compared to the amount of software produced. Basically, the thing is that hardware is the base for any software. You can't only run a software anywhere in the air. So it is strictly not possible, or it is 100% not possible that you can run software in air, because it needs some or the other media in order to process that and in order to display it, even in air for that matter. When you have a projector, then only you are able to run something from your computer or from any other software. So that is when you are able to display. So there should be a significant growth in the hardware manufacturing industry also. That is what I see an opportunity in future. And to all those people who are currently brainstorming during this lockdown, I feel if anyone is from the technology field, just focus on something where you can do a lot of hardware manufacturing, or you can do something related to hardware, because Currently we are seeing that everyone is behind artificial intelligence, data science. We have machine learning. We have embedded system softwares. So there are a lot of softwares getting built, but we have a shortage of hardware being produced and hardware required for testing of these. So there should also be a significant growth in the manufacturing of hardware components. And since we are also talking about nanotechnology in the boom in the next 4 or 5 years, there should be also a growth in the number of nano sensors and nano devices that are made, because they will play a very large role in reducing size of anything that is present in the current world. Our computers might get shrink down to a size where we can fold it and put it in our pocket. Still those computers exist, but they are quite small and not quite efficient. But in future, due to using of nano sensors and nano devices, they might even become more efficient and faster in work. Something that can reduce the size of an entire rocket. So nano sensors can
Yeah.
play a major role in industry development in the next 4 to 5 years. So I believe people who are wishing to start a startup in the technology sector, or trying to become an entrepreneur, or trying to form a company, you can basically think over on various electronics and nanotechnology based fields where you can work to produce some product which can like create boom in the entire for the next 10 years at least. So this is one of the sector.
Yeah, so that is what, because the only hardware that has seen, major improvement is are your televisions, they are your laptops, they are your mobile phones. And so these are some of the few, parts of hardware, regions of hardware, areas of hardware where we have seen, proper like improvement. One more is the assembly line technology, where, things are getting more and more automated. But here is the problem. Like there are so many fields where technology has stagnated for such a long time. In the food processing industry, in the cloth manufacturing industry, especially in the security systems. The security cameras that we have, they have barely improved in the past years. Because if you consider the pace in which the mobile phones or the laptops and computers are improving, security cameras and security systems, they are falling way behind. There is one channel on YouTube called the Lockpicking Lawyer, and he shows like bypasses to how locks can, and these are the locks that we use, day in and day out. It's in public use, and he then bypasses the lock without using a key. He opens them in, mere seconds. So and that has been the standard for like the past 20-30 years. So there are some fields which have not seen as much development as they should, because in part they are not too profitable of fields, right? And back to your point, Varun, when you said that people focus so much on data science now and AI now, because that is the trend that people have seen, right? Even if there are 100 companies related to data science, if you still open a data science company now, there is a very high chance that you will get a funding.
Yeah, that
Because
is true.
yeah, because you're seeing, right, the food, like recently the food delivery apps were a big craze. And once Swiggy took food delivery app like Swiggy took a huge, it went huge. People started making their own, own Swiggy, like in a different name under a different color scheme, but the basic idea was the same. And those people still got, huge amounts of funding. So it is, I think this is what is happening, that people no longer want original, original ideas are not getting the respect they used to get, or the attention they used to get before. Rather, if you make something a little bit prettier, it would sell better, rather than
Yeah, that
making
is very
something
true.
entirely new. Yeah.
So what basically the industry currently is trying to do is try to copy the existing technology,
Yeah.
paste, take it to an editing software. You just edit whatever is there according to how you feel it might look good, and then process it along, and then you just paste it somewhere. So that is how the currently industry is moving, and since we need more and more new ideas to come into play, because since always copy paste does not work, there might be cases where you need to brainstorm, where you need to uh, pluck your brains out and think what to do in such a situation. Here also during COVID-19 times, none of the AI or ML or these softwares came into a huge role, but people had to actually get into work, brainstorm, and try to find out something which was useful during these times. So
Correct.
every time is the idea of copy paste going to work. So sometimes we also need to open a new document or a new chapter, and we need to do something ourselves also. So we are seeing a rise in the amount of publicization and globalization in the country, as we are seeing that ISRO has allowed private players to play in the space sector. So basically now InSpace is the basically the organization or the committee which will now allow private players to come into space industry and work along with ISRO to boost up India's space program, where private players will be able to build rockets, build satellites, build launching pads and launching stations, and use also ISRO's facilities for their launch. So basically, government of India is trying to privatize and help entrepreneurs and also startups which are into the space technology field to come up and also bring out their new ideas in helping the space program of our country to reach a greater height. So, which was happening, this was something which was already happening in the US, where we saw the rise of SpaceX companies, where they were trying to have their own launches, where they were trying to build their own rockets, their own planes, their own satellites. So this was something which was happening, but in our country we had a lack of these resources. But now the government of India has provided all the private players a huge opportunity to in order to get into the space industry or the space program of our country, and to take it forward in a very short span of time. So basically, we had only one organization which was currently working towards the space program of our country. Now we have public players also who are playing, or private players which are playing into this space program. So it will give an enormous amount of boost, and this is what is an opportunity during lockdown. So anyone who has a very very inclination towards the space field can try to brainstorm any of his ideas, and try to meet with people who are currently working in the private sector in the space field in order to brainstorm and share your ideas, so that we reach new heights every year. Because we saw that Chandrayaan 2 was actually, it was not a failure, but due to some circumstances it had to become a failure. So ISRO had done a very good job. So but when when we have private players into it, we would ensure more and more caution, and we would have a lot of brainstorming going around with the officials of ISRO and also people from the private organizations. So that would give a entirely new beginning to the Indian space program. So this is something new which is happening during the lockdown. So over to you, Shlok, if you have any such interest.
Yeah, so I think we will take this brainstorming part to some lighter topics. You know, recently all over the world, sports are making a comeback, right? Under limited restrictions, under some different schedule, but sports are nonetheless making a comeback. The Premier League in Europe, in the UK, you know, the Australian Football League in Australia. There is the National Football League and the Major League Baseball in USA, so on and so forth. And even in India, there are talks of the IPL this season being held not on the Indian soil but in UAE, but
Yeah.
still it is planning to make a comeback. And when I was reading articles regarding this, you know, I saw something that in USA especially, there is a huge culture of college sports where there are dedicated leagues or large scale leagues of sports leagues for college students, where prestigious universities like Stanford, like Penn State University, like California, like Caltech, and so on and so forth, they give scholarships based on your sporting capabilities. Like if you are joining a football team of that college, they will give you a scholarship according to your skill in your sport. So that opens an entirely new avenue, right, for students. I was wondering, so would that same system work here in India? The college sports system and the sports scholarship system.
But actually, see, seeing from the sports point of view, I have my own sister who is into Rope Malkham. She's a national player. So I feel immensely proud when she plays national level games in Rope Malkham. But the only problem that we currently face is our sports industry. That Malkham is almost now a recognized Olympic game, and we had demos for Olympics before the start of Olympics this year in the Indian Commonwealth Games also. So since we have seen a demo of such game or such a game being recognized, why not the Indian Sports Ministry give some perks? Now, since the Indian sports industry is currently offering scholarships also to some young achievers, like they are having these scholarships.
Yeah, so
They have
that is
these
currently
Khelo
going
India
on.
scholarships, so which young and aspiring sports persons get for their achievements. So government of India is doing something, but there are a lot of
Varun, but here is the problem, right? The scholarships that they are providing, right? It is outside of a college. If say a college like IIT, provides a scholarship, based on how good you are in playing cricket, right? Then it provides a different avenue, right, to people rather than just to study engineering to get a good degree. You know, if there was an inter-college cricket league, you know
yeah,
because the IPL, the brand of IPL, the brand of ISL, recently for
yeah,
football, is on a very large scale, right? They are multi-million dollar enterprises, and the only influx of talent that comes there, is either already established players, or internationally established players, or
yes,
players from the Indian domestic cricket scene, the Ranji Trophy and so
yeah,
on and so forth. But there is a huge risk there, right? That if you don't make it from Ranji Trophy to IPL, then you have no career in cricket.
very good.
So that's the current dilemma in sports. Like, people, even if they have the talent, don't want to go into sports, because the mentality here is you either make it big or you don't succeed at all.
Yeah, basically, either you make it big or you drop off. Means
Yeah. So
your brains into thinking a lot about what to do in your future.
yeah,
So,
and this is where I think a majority of India lacks on the international scale, because in USA, the basketball team of USA is, I think, one of the best in the world, and they have a system where if you are good at playing basketball, right, you will get scholarships from your college, and when you get a college degree, right, you have some sort of a backup plan. Like, if the basketball does not work out in the future, at least you have a college degree with you. Then you can try to go do some job, like try to get in some other sector. But in India, that's not the case. That if you want to become a top level athlete, you have to dedicate your entire childhood and your teenage years to that. So that means you don't have the backup of a college, right? Because if you're trying to balance both education and sports, right, then you're not going to be good at either of those.
so basically, as I am seeing that even my father visits the US a lot of times, so he keeps on telling that these US universities also provide admissions based on the co-curricular skills of these the students who are pursuing their basically their 12th or their undergrads. So co-curricular skills also play a major role in their admissions, whereas in India our 12th marks play a major role in our admissions, and rather the entrance exam plays a major role in admission into university. So basically, what about the students who have a very good record in their co-curricular activities, but they do not get a chance due to their poor scoring, not even poor scoring. They are also good scorers, but they are not of that level where they score above 98% or 95%, where they get into good universities. So this is something which India lacks in the university sector. So India should promote giving scholarship to those students who are very talented and bright in their own sport
Extracurricular talents.
curricular skill, for that matter. So
Mhm.
someone can be a good child artist. There are a lot of child artists, so you can promote these child artists by giving scholarships. You can have some national levels singers also. You can have dancers. So there are a lot of skills through which you can give the students scholarship, because we are seeing that every year in the US you are having people from various other sectors other than the education sector getting into good university just through their co-curricular skills. So that is what we are lacking here in India.
Correct.
What we should try to implement, so that none of us at the end of the day says that we did not get an opportunity to study at the best college in the country. So I believe that IIT should not only be an epitome of education or only providing knowledge. It should also be an epitome saying that we basically entertain all the students who are diversifiedly talented and who are talented in each and every field, not only from the field of education or the JE mains or the JE advanced. So that should not be the criteria basically. So if anyone who has such great skills and who has been uh, quite hard working on their co-curricular skills and developing their skills to basically a stage where people are recognizing you for your skills, and but still you are not getting into one of the best universities or the best colleges in our country, then just ping us down so that we would try to help you out if it is possible from our side. So that is what we request you all. Now, Shlok, any other sector which you would like to discuss?
No, I think that's it for today, right? Unless you have something you want to, talk about.
Yeah, but we have another sector which is currently booming, and people can play a major role in developing this sector, which is the OTT. The OTT sector,
Okay.
yeah, having everything online. Right from the start of the lockdown, we have seen a rise in everything which is done online. So basically, the online activity of every person around the world has increased to almost a very large point where we are unable to stay connected to these devices, that we are always glued to them. So every time we have something new, we ought to watch it. So this field is currently increasing rapidly. So anyone who has any ideas on how to do something like this or work in some fields like these can ping us down in the description. Many people have ideas that since the current world is moving towards the technology booming era, and where we have a lot of uh, gluing towards the computers or the TVs or the PlayStations or the Xbox, where people, even children of age 2, 3, are having laptops and iPads in their hands. So that is not a good sign. But people
Mm.
are having such ideas that why do not keep a brainstorm, or why not build an app or something like that, which can allow children to also play and also to learn. So Byju's is doing some work like that also. But some people are thinking, why not we sit at home, and when a child starts playing a game, after every 10 minutes he's asked a question randomly. The game stops automatically. Then the child is asked a question. If he answers it correctly, he'll get an explanation for that question or that answer, and then he can move on and continue his game for the next 10 minutes. Or
Mhm.
if he does not answer that question correctly, then he would be asked to learn or to understand why the his answer was wrong and what is the correct answer for that, and then accordingly continue his game by answering another such question. So this is something which has a play and study kind of
Yeah,
approach.
I think there was something like that. I think 5 or 4, 5 years back, where it was something that you would attach to your television, and then you had special shoes, and the amount of steps you took or how much you walked,
Yeah.
corresponding to that, you can like watch your TV for a certain amount of time. I think it was like if you walk 1000 steps, you get half an hour of television time. So, the idea was that that will incentivize children to, take long walks or take, be active
Or at
so that
least
they
play
can
for
watch
some amount
television.
of time, basically.
Yeah, so that they can watch television for some amount of time later. But then it didn't take off or it didn't become popular because then children found a way to watch television some other way, because, and especially now where they have a mobile phone, they have an iPad, and they also have a TV. If they can't watch something on TV, they'll just go and watch it on
Which,
their phones.
yeah,
So, yeah, I mean, what can I? Such products have been tried before, but they were not, very popular. I think the issue is not that the children are not interested in going out and playing. It's just that whatever uh, I think it is a culture that has become like that. That
yeah, very true.
children see their parents be on the phone constantly, so they think, okay, so that is accepted or that is allowed to do. So there has to be some sort of influence from the parents side as well, right?
Basically, there was this story which I read from the biography of Steve Jobs, where some of his employees also said that Steve Jobs was working in the Apple. Steve Jobs is the founder of Apple. So when he was working and manufacturing products like Apple iPod or iPad or the iPhone, which launched in the 2007 and 2011 saw a rise in the iPad zone. So his employees used to say that whenever his employees or anyone else or his friend visited their home, they did not find a single Apple device at their home. Their children were not even permitted. Their children didn't even knew that their father was doing something like this or working in some kind of industry like this, where they are doing something which can like revolutionize an entire century, but they did not even have the access to them. So basically, something like this can be done, but now since we are not in a position to rapidly shut down the usage of internet and goods, now currently as even we are streaming on Zoom,
Yeah, YouTube.
and so
Yes.
since the technology has also grown, we cannot shut down the usage of technology suddenly. So it has to happen very slowly and constantly. That you try to reduce your entire screen time by at least 20 minutes every day. So not every day, you can try to do it for a week. So if you're watching
Mhm.
for 3 hours continuously, then you can reduce it down to 2 hours. 2 hours 40 minutes, then you can reduce it down to 2 hours 20 minutes, something like that. So that will not help, that will help a lot, so that people can go and venture out what is happening in the world rather than sitting on their phones and wanting to know what is happening around their world. So phone is not, Google is just an help, Google is just your helper or your assistant basically. If you when you do not have resources, but when you have resources like libraries, you can better visit them rather than every time googling it. So anyone who has any such great and very good ideas which can influence people in a better way can comment down in the section, and that is all we had for all of you. So eat
Yeah.
every day, keep brainstorming, write down your
And
ideas wherever you
goodbye.
find, write down your ideas, basically write down your ideas or share it with someone whom you are very close to and who understands what is your passion. So
Yeah, because this was something very important, right? People generally keep to, if they, think of something a good, they try to keep it to themselves so that only they get the benefit of the idea. But that is, that is a very incorrect mentality of going about things. Because I heard a quote from somewhere that if I have an apple and if you have an apple and then you give me your apple, then I have two apples and you have none. Okay. But if I have an idea and Varun has an idea and we both give each other our ideas, we both now have two ideas. So, right. What this quote means that even if you have, material things, materialistic things like money, like, even non-materialistic things like fame or status. Now, even if you can exchange it between two people, the amount of that, the amount does not change. if like in the example with apples, now Varun has no apples because he gave his apples to me. But in the case of ideas, now both of us have two ideas, right?
So there
So
is
our
basically an exchange
yeah
of whatever I have with him and what he has with me. So
yeah.
if
So
he
both
has
of us
had one
benefit
apple
from this.
and I have one apple, then we cut our apples into half. I share my half part to him and he shares his half part to me. So it is something like that. Idea is something like that. So
Yeah, but now even if we cut apples and share, now we still have one apple each. But before you had one idea, but when I shared my idea with you, you had two ideas. Huh. So and when you share your idea with me, I also have two ideas. Idea is something that you cannot lose. You know, when you have some idea, if you share it, it does not mean that you lose the right to that idea. You know, if you share it, you may not get to reap the benefits, but at least then the idea goes into the world. So
yeah,
that
and you
is
can
what is
see
important.
your idea getting implemented rather you not being a part of it or you being a part of it does not matter, but you feel that somehow my idea has tried to help out people there or has tried to bring out some advancements in various fields around. So don't fall back, share your ideas with people and do not hesitate to write down your ideas also. Writing down of ideas is also very important as many times people forget what they had thought. So basically write down ideas whenever you get them. So that will help you in maintaining or having at least a goal in front of you that I have to achieve something like this. So this is my idea. I need to share it with people to get their views and their reviews on. Let that idea be hypothetical. It does not matter. Idea can be hypothetical. People might say that this might not work. So if people might have said that what can an apple do by falling on Newton's head, then even people said that Newton's idea was hypothetical, that something fell from the tree on Newton's head. So it does not mean that there is something which is existent, but it was hypothetical. But then Newton proved it in future. Then Newton came with the theory of gravity, that something which is falling from the tree experiences in gravity and it falls. So something like that. Let your idea be hypothetical, but in future it might become realistic. So do not hesitate to share and pen down your hypothetical ideas also. Hypothetical ideas can pave a way to newer way of thinking. So see, everyone has a different way of thinking into a different way of making ideas. So let us all share our ideas, pen them down, and till then we'll meet soon next week with something even more interesting. So till then,
Yeah, for because we'll just give you a sneak peek of what we are doing next week. Continuing this theme of ideas, right? Now, the next step that some people want to take their ideas towards is to have their own startup or to start their own business. Basically, go into entrepreneurship. So we will have a very esteemed personality who has years of experience on training various entrepreneurs and conducting lectures. So we will have an interview with an esteemed personality on the next episode of High on Sugar.
so till then, good night. Thank you. Shabak khair, sayonara, choose of Wiedersehen, and lots more. Thank you.
Please like, share and subscribe to our channel Shubhashish Initiative.